Hi again, it's me again, back again. One of the things I struggled with in life was I've always believed in God, but I don't somehow never thought that He believed in me, that He just didn't care for me. Uh, and part of that was because I knew the life I'd lived. I was not necessarily, I was never a really goody two-shoes. I was just Buck. I lived kind of a hard life as far as a life that's rowdy. Um, my language has always been terrible. I swore like a trooper. I still swear, and I'm a pastor. Uh, yeah, you talk about God working miracles. I don't know how to describe myself except to say that I've had a rough existence. And it was nobody's fault but mine. It was the life I chose. I was a hard drinker. Um, I was a womanizer. Um, I was just not what you would call Christian material. Okay? How else can I say it? And yet, for some reason, I was always attracted to God. I loved God. Uh, I believed in Him. And I believed in Jesus. But I didn't believe that He believed in me. I believed that because I believed what I'd been taught, that I had sinned, that I was a sinner, and that I was going to hell no matter what I did. And yet, for some reason, I clung to loving God. I was drawn to Him. And yet I kept doing these silly things. And yet, from the time I was very young until even now today, the miracles, the miraculous stuff has happened in my life. When I was running down the street, I was 5 years old in Corpus Christi, Texas, where my dad was stationed. And I was running down the street barefooted, as fast as I could. Corpus is hot, and it's Texas. And I was going down the sidewalk just as fast as my fat little feet would take me. And all of a sudden I heard a voice, and the voice said, "When you're older, you're going to be a minister." I stopped running. I just stopped running flat. I said, oh, I was about 5 years old. Wasn't in school yet. And then I started running again. Didn't mean squat to me. I didn't know what a minister was to begin with, but I remember the incident. And then over the years, I remember one night I'd come in from drinking all night, hanging out in bars, drunk. I was laying in my bed, my bunk, with no Okinawa, and I mean I was totally plowed. It was one of those times when the bed was just going over and around and upside down and sideways. And I was quite literally holding on to the sides to keep from falling out of the rack. I heard a voice. The voice said, "You're going to be a pastor." I remember thinking, yeah, right. That was the last thing in the world I wanted to be. To me, being a pastor was sissy. No fun at all. I didn't want that life. But I was still attracted to God. Okay? Yeah. I've never been very smart. From time to time I'd hear this voice, and I didn't want to be a pastor. I really didn't. But things kept happening in my life. I was somewhere around 30, not quite, maybe probably 29. And my kids and I lived in substandard housing, Navy housing, but it was substandard. And we lived there because I couldn't afford base housing because I was a bachelor father and I had to pay somebody full-time to babysit while I worked. And one night I was playing my guitar and just sitting at the kitchen table, and all of a sudden I heard voices, choral, choir voices just going with me. And I kept playing, and it was scary. There was no reason for it. And it was scary, and yet it was so beautiful. The voices, there's no way to describe them. They were just absolutely beautiful. Why me? Why? I'm not that good a guitarist. Wasn't then. I hadn't been playing all that many years. The miracles kept happening like that. I've shared a couple of them here. The point that I want to get out is this, I guess. You hear all these things about you have to go to church. I wasn't going to church. You have to be holy. You have to keep your nose clean. You can't be a sinner. You can't, a lot of things you can't do. Let's just put it that way. And if you do, the church is teaching you're going to hell. And I'm here to tell you, God loves you anyway. It took me a long time to figure that out. And I did become a pastor 17 years ago now. 17 years ago. I don't know how it happened. I kept doing the studies and everything that took me to it and didn't want to. I was a mess. I've been a pastor for 17 years, and it's what I was trained for all my life. I'm aware of that. I know that now. I was supposed to become a pastor. It's the only thing I've ever done that has brought me complete satisfaction. And it's also very frustrating. I don't know what the point of this is, except that God loves you. You don't have to be all that good, but you have to put forth an effort. The one thing I did all my life, and I do need to tell you this, the one thing that I did all my life was I've always prayed. So keep praying. Pray to God. I hope you got something out of this. I'll see you later.